I'm back. It hasn't been that long, but I thought I'd give everyone an update. But before we get into that, I realized I got ahead of myself and I haven't actually told you who I am. So hi, if you're new to this channel, I'm Christine. I used to be a brand strategist in New York City. I lived in Chicago and New York, and now I am giving an update about the latest movement in my life. And now back to the video. Yes, I have news. I have life updates. I have career updates. I have all of the updates. And as I am here filming to you today, the update is officially that I have moved back to Taiwan. I've quit my job. I've wrapped up my life, my chapter, my everything in New York and in the States, and officially relocated back to Taiwan, which is where I'm at right now. And apologies for the update. It has been crazy hectic, just trying to wrap everything, trying to ship, trying to understand if I ship or do I try to carry everything back. But alas, I will update you all in this video about what I've been up to lately, about my decision to move back to Taiwan, how I made this decision, and the entire process. Here we go. So it might come as a small shock to some of you why I made this decision so fast and did everything so quickly. However, I have to guarantee you, this has been on my radar for the last, I want to say 7 to 8 years of, it was always part of my life roadmap that I would wrap up my chapter in the States and move back to Taiwan. It was just unsure of what that exact timeline is of how many years I was going to stay in the States. 2 years ago, I moved from Chicago to New York. And at that time, I always knew that New York was going to be a temporary stop rather than a permanent thing. So I told myself at the time that I wouldn't be able to live the same day twice because there was always that countdown clock of knowing it was always going to come to an end. So that was like kind of one of the premises that I started filming on this channel, of just recording my life, sharing my journey. At that time, I kind of knew that maybe 2 years time was going to be up just because I knew my lease was going to be up in 2 years. However, I wasn't sure whether I was going to move somewhere else within New York, move somewhere else within the world, or move back to Taiwan. But I always knew at my previous apartment, I was only going to be able to stay 2 years. So throughout the last 2 years, it was a lot of not only just enjoying my everyday life, enjoying my career, and developing my professional skills as a strategist, but also thinking about what that next step in life was going to be. A couple of months ago, which was initially my turning point, one of my very close friends asked me to prioritize 5 main things in life. This was like an internet test, but she asked me while we were in conversation of how to rank these top 5 things in your life. I think you should try ranking it too, so feel free to pause and go through this journey with me. The first was your career, your hobby, your friends, your family, and your relationship, like your loved one. I do agree that in every stage of your life, you're going to always rank these 5 things differently depending on what your specific goals are in that part of your career or your life or your wherever you are mentally. And at the time, I ranked it this way. The first thing was family. Second thing was my relationship. Third thing was my friends. Then came my hobby, and last came my career. And then I went through a internal kind of identity crisis because I ranked my career last, but that was the main thing that was keeping me in New York and in the States. I loved my job, but I realized at this point of my career, there is only so much happiness and so much milestones and accomplishments I wanted to achieve within my work that it came further down in my life priorities. If you asked me 5 years ago, I suspect I would have ranked career maybe second or third after family and friends. But at this point of my life and at my career, I realized I've done most of what I wanted in my career throughout my channel. I've recorded many career accomplishments that I'm very proud of, and I'm really glad that I was able to record it. However, I was almost done. I knew that I could continue to progress within my position and be able to rise up the ranks, be able to work with bigger clients, more interesting challenges. But I've kind of tasted it. I worked on GE, I worked on many big clients like Microsoft, and I was like, well, maybe I'm ready to go back to Asia. Another, I wouldn't say turning point, but 2 years ago, I was doing my year-end review with my manager, and at the time, we didn't just talk about goals within the next 6 months, within the next year, or within my current position, but we also talked about career ambitions of what my purpose was in my career as a brand strategist. And I gave it a lot of thought. I forgot the exact wording of how I said it, but it was something along the lines of my career purpose was to empower Taiwanese brands and uplift Taiwan through branding. And I felt like at this point in my career, I am ready to be able to take what I've learned from brands in the States, take what I've learned from multinational corporations and how they make decisions, how the business leaders behave and enact decision making, that I'm able to take what I've learned professionally and also from my learnings at Northwestern to be able to come back to Taiwan and use those learnings to empower and uplift Taiwanese companies. With that, it was twofold of realizing my life ambitions and also realizing I'm at this stage in my career that I am ready to be able to make this move. And that's when I started to actively start looking for jobs in Taiwan. And if I won't go into too much detail in this video, but if you're interested about the job hunt process, I also look for jobs not within Taiwan, but in Singapore and Asia, and also jobs that would allow me to work remotely from Taiwan. Yeah, I did explore all those options, including exploring the option with my previous agency to be able to stay and be working remotely from Taiwan. All that's to say, if you're interested, let me know down below. I'll film another video on it. The decision-making process pretty much came this way. So I first explored job opportunities. So I looked for jobs within Taiwan. I looked for jobs within Singapore. And I did this through the job recruiting and job hunt websites such as LinkedIn, Urator, Cake Resume, and also within Taiwan, 104.com or 104. I looked for jobs by just submitting my application and resume, typically of how I do it in the States. However, there weren't many opportunities that fit the profile I was looking for just because branding is a smaller industry within Taiwan and within Asia as compared to North America. Also, throughout networking, I knew of different agencies and had different contacts. So that's when I actively started reaching out to them and letting them know I am making this decision to move back to Taiwan. And if you have any job opportunities for me, let me know. I'd be very interested to explore that. One of the things to note here, though, was that I did not make the decision on my parents or my partner in deciding to move back to Taiwan, just because I think this is a huge life decision that I am making on my own. And if you are also in a similar boat, this is a decision that you are making for the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life of making this move. I would recommend you make this decision on yourself rather than being contingent on others. Of course, my parents and partner made an influence on my decision of helping me push the trigger and helping push me more towards making this decision sooner and giving me the courage to do it. However, it wasn't contingent on them. I would not recommend you making a life decision on anyone else but yourself, just because if anything didn't go well, it's human nature to blame someone else rather than yourself. So always make a life decision on yourself, on your happiness. This is what I did at this time in my life, and I would definitely recommend you to do the same. So that was the decisioning process. I didn't actually tell my parents until I got a final offer that I was pretty sure I was going to sign. It's kind of funny. So the way I told them was my brother was visiting me in New York at the time, and I asked him whether he wanted to tell our parents together. And the way we did it, my mom was also like, she was at a eye doctor's appointment, so she was like very much like not in the headspace of comprehending big news like this. So they did not react anyhow at the time. I was so disappointed because my brother afterwards, he was like, did you expect like more? They were just like very calm. They didn't really care that you wanted to go back to Taiwan. So afterwards, I was like, what the heck? You guys are not excited about me coming back, but they were. They told me afterwards, they were just like, we were too flustered. I was at the eye doctor. Everything was going on, but yay, you're coming back. My friend helping me rethink my life priorities, and then also having this career lined up, it really helped me make the decision of knowing that I wouldn't be just quitting my job. I would be having this offer lined up. Long story short, I decided to pursue the opportunities with this Taiwanese company. Updates to come. I will for sure be filming day in the life of working in Taiwan. I'm really nervous. So if you work in Taiwan, if you work in Asia, let me know any tips down below, because personally, I've never worked in Asia. I've only worked in Chicago and New York. So I'm very nervous about what to expect. But I'm excited, nervous, all wrapped in one package for me. So yeah, more to come about the new life. I know there's gonna be many challenges to come from changing lifestyles of living in New York for so many years and then moving back to Taiwan. The culture is different, the work culture is different, being closer, the proximity to my partner and also with family. I'm sure that's all gonna be a challenge. So let me know if you have any tips on how to navigate that, because personally I have not had this close proximity of a relationship with them for many years. So again, very nervous, but excited in a good way. All in all, I am very happy about my decision. I am excited about wrapping one chapter of my life. I felt like Chicago was like my early 20s, and then New York like late 20s. As I'm now wrapping up my late 20s, I am very excited about starting a new chapter, starting a new lifestyle, and am very proud of myself for actually keeping up with my life goals. Personally, I don't see myself as a planner. I have never seen myself as a planner because I changed my mind last minute. I like to keep the options open and like to live my life more on a spontaneous level. However, this part of my life, I actually planned out. So I'm very surprised and very proud of myself for doing that. I guess as I'm maturing, I am becoming a slightly different person. Excited about this chapter of my life. Very happy, very anxious, but all is good. And that's it for the update. That's it for this video. Let me know anything you want me to know, any questions, and I'll see you next time. Bye.